over the last few years is a growing global trend by regulators to more and more regard gene-edited crops as non-GMO.
Right.
And GMO regulation is, again, once you're outside of that track, time to market, cost is, again, a fraction.
Yeah.
Now, you asked why was all of the work done on corn and soy, because these were a few of these are probably some of the largest industries.
Yeah.
And, it made economic sense to invest $100 million in 10 years to develop a new variety of corn.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't make economic sense to spend the same time and money in developing a new variety of banana.
But this sounds stupid, but why not banana when I know that bananas are, like you're saying, the most important fruit? And I understand that corn is obviously really widely grown. Is that just because people aren't going to eat one banana a day, but you could eat corn breakfast, lunch and dinner, so the market is just much bigger?
I think, this is an economic consideration for, every company to do for its own. You can argue that some companies, some of the big seed companies like Monsanto and Syngenta, they've developed such products and they've made some very, the economics worked in their benefit.
I see.
I cannot talk about crop because I know that the seed a lot less, but I can tell you that with the types of crops that we're looking at, $100 million in 10 years, it will be very challenging to make it a profitable product.
I see. And so really,
now,
sorry, I was going to say,
please.
For these kind of like big companies that have been doing this kind of agrochemical work, they're really just interested in the kind of the massive hitters then.
It's a generalization which is relatively, it's relatively accurate.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Sorry.
They do some work around other crops, but these are the main crops that I've seen. Probably, again, my personal estimate, 85-90% and north of the R&D efforts over the last several decades.
Okay. Sorry. Carry on. You were saying.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about why Tropic Biosciences came to be 2 years ago, so one driver is, again, this availability of technology that for the first time allows you to develop a product and doesn't necessarily require you to invest $100 million.
Yeah.
A significantly lower input is sufficient. So you don't have to be, a $40 billion company to develop such a product. You can do this type of effort with a relatively, with a startup company.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The second question is, why are we focused on tropical crops? Which is very interesting because, the tropical crops market is pretty massive. Mm-hmm. We're talking about some very, very large crops. Banana is the most consumed produced food globally. Coffee, the most consumed beverage globally after water.
Yeah.
And you have a list of, cacao, sugar. There's a lot of crops in this category. Now, we like them a lot because, first of all, because they've seen little attention in the past. So this is a real opportunity here. You can make a big impact because you're starting from a relatively low bar.
Yeah.
The second is that if you look from a macro perspective, the tropical region of the planet is the fastest growing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you all, there's a lot of people have been quoting over the last few years some figures that came out of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. They're basically saying that by the year 2050, are you familiar with this
no, I'm not,
figure?
No, I'm not.
Some person in the UN came out a few years ago. You can check it online. It was a big publication at the time, and they said that by the year 2050, there's probably going to be around 2 billion more people on the planet, and that the average per capita calorie consumption is going to be roughly 30% higher than it is today.
Right. Per person?
And if you, per person.
Yeah.
And if you combine both of these factors, then you end up needing to increase global food production by the year 2050 by about 70 to 100%.
Yeah.
And all of that, you don't have more water, you don't have more land, the resources are already relatively constrained.
Yeah.
So that really gave a really strong push to people saying, technology is going to solve this, allow us to produce this much more food with the same resources that we have today, or even less, considering climate change, etc. Now, we look at these numbers and we think from a tropical perspective, meaning that if you look at population growth, so out of these 2 billion people that are going to be added, about 1.6 billion of them are going to come from tropical nations.
Yeah.
So, Central and South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. This is where populations are growing. In Europe, in the US, populations are not growing as fast. In some cases, they are declining.
Yeah.
So this is where population growth is going to come from. And second of all, if you're thinking about calorie consumption, Europeans and Americans, they already achieved a pretty, high, let's say a healthy plus level of calorie consumption. Where people are going to eat more are going to be in these tropical regions, India, China, Brazil. So if you look generally where the demand is coming from, where the growth is needed, is in these sectors. So instead of us focusing, like a lot of other companies, trying to increase the corn production by 1%, let's look at some of these tropical crops and try to increase their production by 50 or 100%.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing. So we started the company in Norwich. I think this month is actually going to be 2 years ago. We started the company in July 2016.
Yeah.
I think from the start we knew that we were going to build something significant and big.
Yeah.
And we designed the team accordingly. So I can tell you, just about a few of the co-founders and some of the board people, the people that are associated with us. So my personal background, I'm an ex-ship commander and an officer in the Israeli Navy. I then studied engineering, and for a period of about 6 years I was a professional venture capital and private equity investor focused on the food and agricultural technology space. My two co-founders, one is Dr. Eyal Maori. And by the way, even though the three of us are Israeli, we all live in the UK. Dr. Eyal Maori did his PhD in plant genetics in the Faculty of Agriculture of the Hebrew University in Israel. His PhD work became a startup in the space called Biologics that was acquired by Monsanto for reportedly around $125 million. He then moved to the UK, and our third co-founder, Dr. Ofir Meir, also Israeli, did his PhD in genetics in the Weizmann Institute. Then joined a small startup in the agricultural genetics space, which was also acquired by Monsanto for a significant sum.
Yeah.
So we have a very experienced team. Some of our board members include, first of all, Dr. David Lawrence. Dr. David Lawrence is the former head of R&D for Syngenta, which is one of the largest seed companies, agro businesses globally, before it was acquired by ChemChina a couple of years ago. The second person is Dr. Vincent Petiard. Vincent is the former head of plant sciences R&D at Nestle. Nestle is the biggest food company globally, and the biggest coffee company globally. And Vincent is one of the leading experts around these types of crops globally.
Yeah.
Very recently we were joined by Mr. Erez